Hey there, Wargamers, Justin here, Painter, and today, boom, got another unboxing for you guys. I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in today. If you are new here, please alpha strike that like and subscribe button. Smash it like you're trying to focus fire all that fire into the enemy mech's face, but instead, let's channel that energy into helping the channel here grow. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for being an awesome supporter of the channel. A Sibkin, a Sibco, a Lance mate, Star mate, whatever the case may be, thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. That said, we're going to jump into this today. We've got a box of mechs that were sent to me for my NOVA2023 Alpha Strike Grinder box, and these are from Dan Athanasaw, if I got it correct. He is also the guy who gave me some dice here. He's got a little podcast, Listening to Paint Dry, and we've got his, I think it was it Murder Bird Studio, or Murder Crow Studio, or Murder Paint Studio, something like that. I screwed up. And then we've got his dice for his channel, and then his co-host or buddy's dice, because he wanted slightly different ones. So those is dice, and then we got another slot in here for some other dice if we want to. But that is his podcast. So yeah, he's also a patron, one of the first 4 on Patreon, so big thank you for that. As this video goes up, there are a few other unboxings that I've done that are from viewers who are now patrons as well, but this is the first one I filmed since Patreon went up, and he's a patron now, so big thank you, Dan, and let's get into the mechs that he has sent us. I'm not sure what he sent or what he painted, and I'm opening it fresh here on the channel. I've had this for a few days and resisted the urge to open it, which is always tough because new toys, new models, I always want to check them out, but I wanted to wait until I had an opportunity to film the unboxing here. So we'll go ahead and pull out the packaging here, the bags. Oh, he's got a box within a box. That'll make things a little easier. Let's see, is there like anything in this? Make sure I don't throw anything away. Okay, so he was making darn sure nothing got messed up. So I'm going to assume, because he sent cards, these correspond with the minis. So I'm going to assume we have got a Trebuchet, a Zeus, a Valkyrie, and an Axeman. That would be my guess. Now, it'd be really funny if he sent these and then those weren't the mechs that were in the box. That would be quite funny. So let's see. Oh, he put a little sticker on here. Dropship of Love. You know what this needs? This needs one little extra thing here. We need a little, this little right here. Dirt. Whee! Little tiny Irby coming out of the Dropship of Love. So let's go ahead and pop this open, see what we got in here. Oh man, he went legit. Like, he actually, he stored these in foam. Like, he glued the foam on here so that they're stored in a box. Very neat. Oh man, these look great. Alright, so I'm going to start with the small guy here. So we've got this is the Stinger, I think. I always get the Stinger. Nope, it's the Valkyrie. I get the Valkyrie, the Stinger. Oh. Did he modify this? Did he send the wrong one? I think he might have been confused too. This is a Valkyrie card, but I'm pretty sure this is a Stinger. I think he may have also made the little oopsie doops that I do, because they look very similar. Let's hang on. I've got my phone here. Let's bring up our little phony phone, and we're going to check and make sure I'm not crazy. So we'll open this up. We're going to go to Master Unit List, and then we'll come over here, and we're going to type in Stinger. Stinger. And yep, so there's a Stinger. There's a Stinger. I do that all the time. I mix up the Stinger, the Wasp, and the Valkyrie. So we've got the Stinger here. I don't have any information as to what the paint scheme is. I'm going to assume this is custom Mercs. Oh, nice. He's got the little hazard stripe for the rear. Very cool. I really dig it. I started the small guy first because the detail level on them is not as prominent on the bigger models, and I wanted to go to the bigger, as you would go up, get to bigger ones because you'll see more detail. But I kind of get this like almost Smoked Jaguar vibe from these because we got the kind of camo pattern with the dots. But yeah, I dig it. These will go really well with the mercs that Joe painted for me, the Death's Leopards, which is even more funny because these guys have spots. Maybe they'll be part of the merc company. Maybe they've got reinforcements. Maybe they've formed together to be the Leopard's Pride, or something like that. So yeah, very cool. I dig that. Let's get into the trebuchet next, because I like the trebuchet. So the thing is really cool on this. I'm a big fan of gray. It's a paint scheme that I enjoy painting, and I dig the little camo patterns here. We've got the barrels with the colors for the laser tips. He even went so far as to get like a little almost plasma glow going on here on the bottom of the arm, which is really neat. We got our decals, which is really nice. Actually, it looks like he did a pretty good job of cleaning mold lines too. I'm not seeing anything egregious. Nice here to have a little heat sink. I did notice on the back of the Stinger, he also has this little yellow triangle. That's part of the iconography. He's got one here too. And yeah, I also like dig the jeweling here, the kind of purple magenta for the cockpit, really juxtaposed well with the gray. So yeah, these are stellar. These are going to look really good in that box. And the basing's really nice too. Yep. Really nice. Alright, so next up we're going to check out the Axeman. This is a model that I haven't painted for myself yet, but I've got the Axeman and the Hatchman. I always get the two mixed up. So it's exciting to have one in the collection. The other thing that's going to be cool is being able to use these for the Alpha Strike Aces AI stuff. Being able to grab lances or models from the grinder box from you guys and roll those into video content where your mechs get to fight me even though they're AI driven will be very cool. So I like this. Again, dig the jeweling. Juxtaposed really nice. I dig the matte finish on these. I'm a big fan of matte on the minis. I dig the gray. I feel bad like maybe I'm not giving as much in-depth analysis maybe of paint jobs on here. Most of the time it's me just being super excited, but when I get the groups that are all the same paint scheme, don't have as many like new things to say usually from model to model because it's the same scheme. So hopefully it doesn't come across as me trying to be lazy, but it's legitimately the same scheme. So I'm just kind of like oohing and ahhing over the different variants of models that have that scheme represented. So I don't know if it's coming across that way, but I worry a little bit. So kind of address that. The thing that's really cool on the Axeman, again, I haven't painted one myself. I really like, let's get our X-Acto here so I can scratch the paint. Now, I like the chest plate here. So if you at home are doing any painting yourself and you're interested in doing some dry brushing, this panel right here, that's going to pick up dry brush like chef's kiss because it's nice and crisp. So when you brush across that, it's going to catch that edge, and the angle of it just looks really good. And same thing with this one, his kind of like abdomen. When you grab the dry brush and go down, it's going to catch all those top areas there and leave a nice crisp line. So I really dig it. I can't tell if it's light here that's giving the illusion of edge highlights or if it's just a subtle gray, so you might have done some of that. In either case, it's very cool. And I really appreciate the work that you guys put into all this. In this case, Dan, because they're his models I'm looking at right now that he painted up, but like it's really cool. It's always interesting to see what you guys do. That may be different than me, that may be similar to me, or just your overall approach to your projects, your mechs, because I've seen so many of you guys who've sent stuff, and your approaches have been different. The standards you want to paint to, whether it's high, or tabletop standard, or somewhere in between, whatever it is, it's interesting to see what you guys do, and I feel like all the models you guys have sent in have been really, really good. Honestly, probably better than I expected. Not that I was expecting you guys to put low effort, but it is for basically free, even though I have been giving out some perks for you guys who've done stuff, but basically free, with no expectations of getting anything for it other than just shout outs or videos because it's kind of cool. But the effort you guys have put in is really nice and it shows, and these models look stellar. The other thing that's really cool, we'll get to the Zeus, the Zeus. We'll get to him in a minute. I usually like the black ring bases. Do I have a mini on my desk here? I do. So usually, I've got the black ring bases, which I typically like. This brown that he's got on here, that's kind of growing on me. I might try that if I do basing that would match well. I might try a brown ring. I I do something about that. I think this is one of those where maybe it's an artistic choice where the brown ring contrasts with the dark kind of gray or almost black armor here. It's almost like a charcoal or coal gray that we got going on here. If you'd done a black base, it might have been too samey. You know, but if you by doing brown, it matches a bit more with the base, and it helps separate the mech from the base. That might have been a choice. I'm not sure if Dan does this on all of his minis or if it was a choice for these, but in either case, it worked out. So I really dig it. Also, again the hazard stripes here, which that's freehanded. A little bit of a pain in the ass because you're working with yellow. Yellow over brown's not too bad, but the fact they did it's pretty cool, and I dig the red for the front. That said, I left the Zeus for last. There's a little bit of a cop-out talking about going from smallest to largest. I saw him when I lifted it open, and I saw the jeweling, and I wanted to do him last because it's probably the best-looking model here. Not because these are, like, less good, but he had such a large surface area to work on here. The canvas provided more of an opportunity for him to show off some skills. So much like the other guys, we got the nice gray, we got the camo patterns, which is really nice, the silver on the tip of the barrel, which is a nice little touch. We got our colors here for like the vents or the heat sinks in the rear, unless he's got rear-facing lasers. He may have rear-facing lasers. I'm not as familiar with the Zeus. And yeah, so never mind, those aren't heat sinks or shunts. Those are rear lasers, because he's got rear on both of these cards. So yeah, that's rear weapons that I was unfamiliar with. I haven't ran the Zeus yet. The Zeus I remember from MechWarrior Dark Age. It had the fins that come out like over here. I think they popped out and they ran down his back or down the back of his like shoulder or area there. I'm not sure if that's a different variant or if it's a Dark Age thing. If it is a different variant or that was something added later in the lore, someone in the comments sound off below and let me know, because I would be curious as to why. There's oddly something very alluring about this area right here. I'm not sure if that's because it kind of gives me a Star Wars vibe for like the Imperial symbol. It's not exactly, but I kind of get that vibe. But the light gray here to the dark gray here, that just subtle gradient is really nice. I'm not sure if that was a wash, contrast paint, airbrush, whatever, but like the transition there just looks, my eye looks at it, I'm like, that's very cool, because your eye's really drawn into like the panel lines. And this is one of the things that's nice about some of these plastics, is you get those nice deep recesses for that to work into. I dig the decal work here. Is this a Space Marine decal? It's like a red-winged eagle kind of thing. Yeah. I think let's zoom in here. I think some of these. All right, so I'm pretty sure the numbers are decals here. Sorry, it's blurring out, guys. I'm pretty sure the numbers are decals here. I can't quite tell. Hang on, I'm gonna lay him down. I'm gonna hold one of these guys to my face because I can't get up close on it in the camera here. Okay, so I think if I'm guessing, Dan, I think the skulls, I think this right here is a decal. The white might be you dabbing and dragging the tip of a brush, dragging it. I think that's probably a decal. I think the skull's a decal. I think that the red that I thought was a decal, I think this is you doing freehand triangles and then a little script work. This yellow one, I think those might be decals. Something about those red ones, they just remind me of these. And same here on the Zeus. That kind of gives me a vibe like it's freehand in that one. And like this one, because they look like they're kind of small script work and small triangles. And yeah, so this one I think is a decal. The number's definitely a decal. I think that's a decal, but I feel like, Dan, did you, assuming you're watching this, did you do freehand, or are these also decals and just look kind of freehand? Not that they're not crisp or anything, but they kind of remind me of these, but small, and they look slightly different. Like that red looks a little different than the yellow. The yellow looks more like, whoops, open it, I didn't scratch it. Oof. that looks a bit more like a decal to me, whereas this looks like it could have been freehand. And if it was freehand, we're getting a slight discoloration right here, where you got the light gray and the dark gray. And if I'm doing freehand, sometimes I'll come in with the color and try and match and trace to clean it up. So it looked like it might have been freehand. If it's a decal, it's still fine. But I thought I was seeing some telltale signs of doing freehand and then tightening up the lines around it. So I'm not sure. In either case, very cool. Back to the Zeus. If you guys in the channel, in the comments below, if you know anything about the fins that have been seen on some Zeus's armor, let me know. I'd love to know the lore behind it. And finally, in closing here on the Zeus, I saved the best for last. Look at the jeweling. That's super crisp, super clean. There's various ways to approach jeweling. I do mine a bit more of I don't want to say smooth, but I work super hard to have like a very like a subtle transition, I guess. I feel like my transitions are similar here, where we're gonna have like a dark to a light, but this style of transition, I don't know what you would call it. It's not super jarring, but it's not quite as it's not exactly the way that I do it, but this is a certain like artistic style, and I don't know how to describe it, but I like it. It looks good. It's not quite this isn't quite to the level of like doing, it doesn't, at least it doesn't look like, it doesn't look like it's just 3 colors, right? It looks like you got clearly the purpley magenta to the pink magenta to the light pink, but it looks like he worked on kind of blending in between, so it's not quite as drastic as what I do, but it's somewhere in between the like the easy jeweling, where it's like the 3 colors, and then mine, and it's like that style for the like 3 color, where you just do like boom, 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 and then the dots. That looks really good. It's almost I don't know how to describe it. It's a Borderlands kind of vibe. This isn't that. It's somewhere near what I do, I think. But it gives that look, and this is good. It's very striking because it's this right here is so potent at the bottom. So I'm going to zoom out the camera here, and when you zoom it out, and that, so now you're seeing this from, I don't know what perspective this would be, but like you went from like real big on the screen to real small, and this still reads. It's very like, it's distinct. I'm kind of rambling here trying to figure out how I want to describe it, but the style of that, it's different than what I do, and I like it. I see some people in the Facebook that do that, and it's hard for me to try new stuff because I have a way I like to do things, and it's very rare that I try a new thing. I worry I won't like it, and then I want to redo it, and I don't want to waste time. But I really like that. I'm not sure. Dan, I would be shocked if that isn't one of your favorite parts on the minis that you sent. If you want to sound off in the comments below, talk about the decal work, talk about the jeweling, or your thoughts about anything I said or anything I missed, or just your project in general, please feel free. I'd love to hear what you have to say. But yeah, the Zeus, by far my favorite. All the minis are great here. As a recap, as I usually do, we have got the Stinger, that I believe you mistook for a Valkyrie. We've got our Trebuchet, which is very cool. We have got our Axeman here, and then we've got our Zeus. But yeah, I like that. I mean, they're all great. I'm a sucker for lights because I don't have enough of them. Trebuchet looks great. I'm trying to make myself use that in the Grasshopper more. I'm in love with the Axeman here. I think I'm going to try and get these into an Aces battle against myself soon, just so I can put them on the table, because I really want to see this Axeman in action. I know I'm rambling here. You guys tune in, because I hope you tune in because you enjoy me rambling. So he's got melee. He's size 3. I believe melee gives him basically a 2-inch range from melee. And then, so he's size 3, be 3 damage. I think melee gives +1 damage, so I think he's hitting for 4 in melee. So he actually does more in melee than he does with his range damage. Except for this variant, who does 440. But yeah, I'd be curious. Yeah, I'm really excited. That said, Dan, thank you so much for sending these in. For anyone who's unfamiliar, I will be running the Alpha Strike tournaments, Alpha Strike Open Plays, Alpha Strike Grinder at Nova Open 2023 this year. I'll also have a bust I'm submitting for the Capital Palette, and I might bring my Jade Falcons to enter into the unit category. I was talking to Dan. Dan also is the guy who runs or helps run the Capital Palette at Nova 2023, or not 2023, Nova Open in general. He's also been a huge supporter and motivator of trying to get me to paint things, which is why I've continued to try and do entries when I go. He's the reason that I submitted Battletech stuff last year, and this year I'm not going to do a diorama, I don't think. I think I'm going to bring my star of Jade Falcons. I'm going to pick the 5 best looking ones. I'm going to put them on a real basic like black display plinth or something like that, with like a little nameplate, or maybe just have the car with my name, and submit them on their own as a unit. I think last year when I did the diorama, the minis probably looked better than diorama, which is usually what I want, but I think that I got a finalist pin, but I think I didn't place because my diorama work was probably weak, but the minis were probably better. So I think I might pull back. Instead of doing a diorama, I might do a unit category with them, and then I'll bring my bust that I finished, I think it was Lock and Load was her name. I think that's one of the best things I've ever painted, and my goal with it here at Nova 2023 is to place at least equal to what I did last year in the there's the Masters tier, which is like the high tier for painting. I'm not in that. And then there's I think Journeyman's the middle, and then there's like the Newcomers, whatever the low one is. The middle tier, the one that's the one with the most number of entries, because it's the wide open one where the most people fit into that category. That's the one I'm entering. I'm going to enter my bust there. Last year I got silver. I'm hoping this year I will at least get silver again. I'm hoping my freehand pushes me over. If I happen to get gold, it'll be because of the freehand. If I maintain a silver status, the freehand might help too. So I'm really, really hoping. So I know it's a side tangent, but Dan's talked to me a bit, and he's one of the guys from the Capital Palette. And I've complained to him quite a bit about how I wish that there was an open category at Adepticon, because I would paint stuff to do there too, and they don't have one. So anyways, I digress. I have rambled long enough, methinks. Dan, thank you for these. For anyone who's interested in what's going on, I think I've covered that pretty well. I've got a few more outstanding unboxings to do when they come in, but I think the Nova Open 2023 grinder boxes are starting to come to a close. I'm pushing almost 70 minis now, and I think that is pretty good. The community has rallied and really helped bring this to life for me. So, Dan, big shout out, big thank you again. Also, thank you for being one of my first Patreon supporters with the Patreon now up. Thank you so much for that, and be on the lookout. I'm sure I'll ping you. If these make it into an Aces video where they fight some of my models, I will let you know. And hell, if you've got interest, once you see this, ping me if you want. Throw me some variant ideas for list building you'd like to see, if there's specific variants, and I'll make that list happen and we'll see what we can do. That said, folks, I think that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. As always, keep rolling your dice, keep painting your models, and if you want to support the channel, check the description down below. You guys take care, and I will catch you guys next time. If you guys are still sitting here watching this, let's take a moment to put a pop-up here to showcase those wonderful Patreon supporters here. We'll let that scroll here, and thank you so much for supporting what I do. That's super awesome. I really do appreciate that.